It is another day. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, and it's another day and another stream. Today, I have a very interesting title. So today, at least on YouTube, today we will, of course, first of all, do our quick sketch, 30 minutes roughly, or 30 to 40 minutes. Then afterwards, we will continue working on my MSI Creator Award project, my character basically. I think we're gonna today combine all the limbs so we can then kind of ease the transitions between the individual limbs, just to make it look, of course, more realistic. And then I wanted to talk about a specific topic. That topic is a trap that if you're an artist that you should be aware of, and how you can avoid it, and how you can see that you're doing it. Basically, it's not that hard to see, but it's important to keep in mind what it could do to your mental state, whatever, to your overall just I don't want to say happiness, but overall just yeah, your mental state. Yeah, so of course, first of all, we're gonna do our quick sketch, roughly 30 minutes of sketching, and then we're gonna finish it in Photoshop, and then I'm gonna upload it. I don't want to waste too much time. I came on 15 minutes late, so we have to make up for it. So we're gonna do this one pretty quick. So let's go right into it. Blender, of course, is already open. I already have an idea, so I don't have to look for inspiration as I did yesterday. My timer is ready. Let me just quickly pull up the dude I will use, and this one is probably pretty easy, but I think it's a cool image. So let me just quickly pull it up. There's something interesting that I saw on when I was uploading my what would you call it, quick sketches. So I kind of use my quick sketches kind of like experiments. Of course, the quick sketches in themselves are just basically, first of all, to warm up, then to finish an image every day, just to get my creative juices flowing, and also just to like get in the groove of actually like modeling and working around with Blender, and just yeah, basically just oiling the machinery so we can really go ham. And it's just fun to do like a full project every day, because I feel like, or at least for me, the best mix was always to have one long-term project that you can work on for multiple weeks, for like, I don't know, up to 100 hours, maybe even more. And then you have maybe one or two more projects that are more like very short term, either like super short term, like these quick sketches. So every day, 30 minutes, you make a quick sketch. Or maybe something less, like, I don't know, like 10 hours or less. Like my likeness sculptings, those took roughly 3 hours and were done in like one setting, which is, I think, a good mix between like a very long project, a mid-length project, and a short-term project. I think it's a good mix it's a good thing to mix these three categories, just because, for example, if you're working on a long-term project and you're like, at some point, at least I had that feeling multiple times now, that when I was working with the same project every day, just trying to get to the next step and just finishing it at some point, it kind of got tiring at some point. So what I've like kind of tried then was to not only have one project, but also have oh, hello Pauline 5276, hope you have had a great day so far. it's summer, so the days at least stay bright for longer. So maybe you were able to join the sun. Yeah. Yeah, as I said before, I'm kind of mixing long-term, mid-term, and short-term project just because I think it's a good mix. So if you're, for example, getting tired of the long-term project, you can just do like a short-term project or even a mid-term project, just to switch it up a bit, make your I think it just keeps it more exciting, and changing it up a bit, I don't know, at least for me, it's really keeps me in the groove. I'm pretty good. Today was pretty chill, so there's nothing so far, at least this year wasn't that exciting for me, but at least I was able to just work on my hobbies, so I'm good. Yeah. And then the short-term projects I think are pretty good for overall just finishing a project every day. I think the concept or the task of finishing a project just gives you this little feeling of success, and having that every day kind of is pretty cool, I think. Okay, so I'm ready. My timer is ready. I have my human base mesh, so we can start. 30-minute quick sketch. There you go. Okay, perfect. So in the beginning, I'm gonna make my 30-minute quick sketch, and then we're gonna go over to the long-term project that I'm gonna do, or that I'm working on right now. Yeah, we're gonna talk about a few interesting topics. Okay, I'm ready. Let me start my timer. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. Time is ready and started already. Let me grab my dude. Oh, hold on. Oh, nope. That's okay. There it is. Nope. Oh no. Okay, there you go. I need my collection. There's my base mesh. Okay, so this scene should be pretty simple. I came up with it 10 minutes ago or so. Shouldn't take too long, so we can probably spend some more time putting some more detail into the scene. The last few were more about finishing the scene and the overall composition, rather than really putting in the time to make it look good, or maybe like make it look more. So usually I kind of want to put in some detail, at least like some surface imperfections, to make it look better, to make it look a little bit more realistic. But if you only have 30 minutes, it's pretty hard to be able to do that. That's why I had a little bit of trouble doing that in the last few that I did. But I think this one could be one where we could get to that point. Okay, I thought about something today, which is kind of funny. So, of course, everybody knows that summer is usually the days are longer than in the winter. But somehow every time like the switch happens, it's kind of surprising that, oh, like you think about it and then like, oh, the days got longer. It's just like it's like a gradual change, but somehow you just completely forget about it, and you kind of like at some point think about it again, you're surprised. Like it's like it's such a long process, but somehow you're just forgetting about it, which is kind of interesting to me. Like I remember once driving to work and seeing the sun come up, and then I remember like seeing that because it was like the road basically went into the sun, or straight looking at the sun, and then I remember that side basically, and then looked at it again, and I saw that the sun was already higher up than before, like just, I don't know, like a few weeks or even like a month ago, or a month later, which is kind of interesting that it happens so fast. But then if you don't think about it, it's like super quick, and it's like, of course, it's pretty like visible. like the change. Now it's like 6 a.m. where I am, or like even almost 8 p.m. I mean, and it's still pretty bright. Usually when it's like 4 a.m. I mean 4 p.m. It already gets dark, which is kind of a bit depressing, but that's just how it is. But now it's staying like bright up until 8 p.m. or even more. Okay. I'm trying to put him in this kind of in a similar post that I had I think 2 days ago. This oh, hold on, I have to do something else for this one. So he should be still sitting kind of like this. It looks kind of weird right now. Let's see if we can fix this. But he will have another pose, or a kind of different pose, but of course another hold on, what do I want to say? Okay, that was kind of weird, but I guess that's just what we have to live with. He's gonna look up instead of kind of trying to sit there in pain. You could probably call the scene that I'm creating right now also painful, but maybe less so, at least on a physical level. You'll see what I mean when I'm there. It's a pretty simple scene, but I think it looks pretty cool. At least I saw it in my head as it looked in my head. It looked pretty cool. Hey, Mr. Viscous, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your weeks and your today, of course. Hope you had a great day. Enjoyed maybe the weather or the long sunny days that are upon us. Okay, let's see. I need my individual origins. This way I can manipulate all of them at the same time, which is pretty good. I probably don't need all of them, but I will do that just for now. There you go. Perfect. Oh, hello. So I need a plane to see how I have to position his hands. There you go. Okay. Yeah, my 3 weeks were pretty good. Just working on some more projects. I started working on I started working on a submission for a competition where which is called the MSI Creator Award, where you can submit not only 3D animation but also 2D and video editing pieces. So we have multiple categories. I of course chose 3D, and we're gonna work some more in the piece that I'm gonna submit today. I think it's a cool idea. The overall theme for the competition is aesthetics meets technology. Kind of like, I think like the description was something like mixing old aesthetics with new technology. That's at least what I read from it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab old Greek or like old overall statues that lost their like famous statues that lost their arms, and I'm gonna kind of like cyberpunkify them. Gonna give them their arms back using like mechanical arms, and then enhancing their look a little bit with some more technological stuff. Basically the theme being old art looks aesthetically pleasing, but what if we bring in technology and make it even better? Okay, so the first hand is pretty good. Let me grab him. Okay. No, at least a little bit higher, so he doesn't have this weird cut in his head. Okay, so he has to now look up. Okay, that's pretty good. Now he has to open his mouth. We need to see your insides. We probably don't need his eyes, but I'll delete that later. I also started a series for my quick sketches that focus more on black and white values and composition overall, rather than colors, and yeah, basically just removing color to focus more on composition and values. And I think the images look pretty cool. If you don't have to care about colors, you kind of have more freedom and more time to care more about the overall layout. Okay. Come on, open your mouth. We need to see more. I kind of want to open his mouth even more. I kind of want to make him like... So basically the theme for this one should be like a soul escaping his body, kinda, or like energy escaping his body. So that's what I'm trying to create here. Through his mouth and his eyes. Should we give him an expression? Let's see. Hope your 3 weeks were good. Let's see. Where's my... Oh, there it is. Maybe you've been creating some more stuff in Blender. Okay. I think that was pretty good. But I kind of want to pull his head back a little bit more. So we could probably pull this even higher. And then pull this back. So we can grab this. Yeah, I mean, don't worry. Hopefully, I wish you all the luck with your grades. I had the same problem at some point. Welcome Boom 2, or I'll just call you Boom. I think 2 is unnecessary. Hope your day has been great. You don't have to worry about me, as I said before. Rather focus on yourself first. I wish you best of luck with your grades. Sometimes learning sucks, but of course, sometimes it just has to be. Or you have to do it for your own good. I wasn't really a theoretical learner myself, so kind of school was kind of hard for me as well. I'm more like a practical learner, which isn't really what you do in school. At least not in like most of the classes. Most of the classes were more like math. Like the only really class that I liked was sports, or yeah, sport and art. Because those were practical, like what is it? Courses. I preferred more the practical learning route, which isn't really that that prominent in school. So school wasn't really for me. Of course, I had to do it. So sometimes you just have to do stuff you don't like. The worst was for my for my last tests, basically, to finish my high school, like to finish high school, basically, we have like all the big tests at the end, and then you get your basically summary of how you did, how your performance was, and mine, like you had to hit a certain point threshold, and I think mine, you have to hit something like 250 or so, and I think I had like 2 points less that I needed to have, so I had to do one more class, or like one more test, which was vocal, to finish to get my degree, basically, which was so annoying. I chose math as my vocal test lesson, or like, yeah, vocal test, which wasn't actually too bad, because you had more to explain. You had to more explain how you would do it rather than actually doing it, which was a little bit easier than the first time I did it, as a usual test where you have to calculate stuff and all that, which was pretty bad. Yeah, so best of luck to you, and hope you get through it. Okay, now I'm gonna frame my image. Let's make it more dramatic. We need less focal length, maybe 30, to make it really dramatic. This gives us more distortion, which makes everything look more, gives it a more drastic perspective. You can see right there, his head is super big, and then his lower body is pretty small. That's just because of the lens distortion, which can help make something look more dramatic, which is what I'm looking for. I kind of want to move my focus though. I also want to remove the missing background, so I kind of want to only focus on his body. Okay, maybe move the focus a little bit forward. Okay. Actually, I kind of want to put it more to the side, more like this, and then maybe reduce the focal length. I mean, increase the focal length a little bit. I think that's better. Okay. That looks pretty good so far. Let's give it a quick save. Don't want to lose my stuff. We're already at Quick Sketch day 59, almost 60. Tomorrow's going to be 60. And tomorrow's also the last day of this week's work week, at least for me in Germany. Friday is off, the vacation. I think it's like, isn't it a universal celebration day or vacation day or whatever? 59. I was kind of surprised yesterday, as I was like kind of thinking about it, just thinking about, oh, Easter is coming this weekend, and then, oh wait, tomorrow's the last day of work, which is always a nice surprise to have, to have. Okay, we don't need the eyes. We don't need, we could probably, no, let's remove the teeth. We don't need teeth. There you go. Yeah, thanks for coming by, checking back in. Yeah, good luck, and yeah, Yeah, good luck and enjoy maybe the rest of your day. Ooh, French. I remember, so do you speak French or are you from French? I guess my next question would be, do you also have do you wait, what do I want to say? Oh, hold on, I have to, okay, 11 minutes. Do you also have off? Hold on. Do you also have a vacation day on Friday? Probably not that relevant for you, maybe? Maybe 12 years should probably be, you should probably, yeah, school, definitely. I can't remember which grade that would be. But, hold on. Let's save that one more time. Okay, let's go to rendered view. Okay, but I would probably advise you to not tell everyone your age. I think there are a lot of people that could do mean things to you, and I think keeping your age kind of secret on the internet is better. Yeah, maybe something you should keep in mind. Not like that it's like super bad, but it's just better for you. Okay, so of course you have probably 9 minutes. Well, at least we have to finish the first stuff. I like the look itself. What I want to do is put in a base color of white, bring in glossiness, or maybe we should keep this rough. Let's keep this rough, 0.75. And then I need to bring in 3 lights. So let's do that. We need 3 lights. Where's my light? There it is. Point light, pretty big. Let's reduce the size. There you go. Put that into his eye, his one eye. Okay, hold on. Oh, what is that? Okay, that's the... We have to probably put it further back. Let's see. That's better. Oh, that's way better. Okay, we need one more. Put that to the other side. Okay, perfect. Then we need one for the mouth. Basically his energy or soul leaving his body. We also need one just a light for the overall scene so we can actually light up the scene, because I want to remove the world lighting. I kind of don't like using world lighting, except for when I use an HDRI, but then of course the light is pretty good from the beginning. But I don't like just using the plain color lighting when I that is usually in the world. Let's use a spotlight. There you go. We use high power. Maybe not too high, that's too high definitely. Maybe something more like 250. Okay. Let's put this a little bit more forward. There you go. Rotate it. Okay. Then I want to make this radius smaller so the shadows are more sharp. Okay, perfect. Let's see. I think I want to change the angle, or should I? Or maybe we should change the light angle. Let's see, I just want to play around with it some more. No, The other side looks kind of weird. Maybe right straight from the top. Looks kind of interesting. Let's keep that for now. What we definitely need is a volumetric lighting. Otherwise this looks kind of boring. Let's see. We need a good old cube, make it bigger. We can then use a wireframe display. We then put in a shader on this cube. We need a principal volume. My throat is kind of dry, but I want to finish this before I drink something. Oh, hello. That looks pretty cool. 0.1. Maybe 0.1, maybe more. We could also direct these light beams a little bit more, maybe. Let's see. What if we go in here in the side view, move it somewhere over here? Okay, where's the, there it is. Okay, that's probably a little bit better. He looks like he's smiling. That's something we have to change. There you go. Let's go in here. Change this a little bit. Make it lower. Okay, that's better. Okay. So I kind of wanted him to be reflected on the ground itself. So you can see a reflection of him on the other side of this reflective ground, but you can't really see it. Oh, I remember, I think most of my English knowledge actually comes from watching videos in English, which is kind of funny. I think I watched like PewDiePie a whole lot, which is probably where most of my English speaking skills come from. I haven't really learned too much in school. Grammar I just learned by listening, and vocabulary maybe is something I learned in school. I don't want to say school is bad, but definitely wasn't the reason that I can speak English now. But that doesn't mean that it's not a good way for you to learn English. I don't know. Let me focus this on the focus point. Where's my focus point? There it is. Now I can move it around. Kind of want to find a good spot for this light. Oh, that's better. I think that's better. Yeah. That's way better. Okay, perfect. But I kind of want to have some light at the back, so let's bring in a very small point light. Very soft point light, rather. Then make it a little bit brighter. Maybe 100. That's too much. How about 20? 20 looks pretty... that's too much. And the color should still be pretty black and white, with less, like, very little in between. But it can't be too little. So I have to find a good mix between the two. Oh, one thing I want to bring in. I want to bring in a surface imperfection for the ground. Let's go to material preview. So we can see I've made a completely mirror-like ground. So one thing I want to bring in is now a bump texture, just to put in something, make it look a little bit more interesting. That's usually not something I can do in the amount of time we have to finish this, like the images, the quick sketch. But right now we have some time, so let's do that. Beach sand. That could look interesting, but I think that's too rough. Let's look through a few more. Dry grass. Nope. We have 1.5 minutes. Metal rusty. Metal old. I mean, roof tile, sandstone, snow. Oh, how about snow? What does snow even look like? I've never used the snow texture before. Let's see. Okay, interesting. Let's see. We have a normal map. Good. Put that in here. I have no idea what it's going to look like. We need a bump map. I mean, bump texture node. Color into factor. Color into height. And there you go. Okay. That's pretty rough. How about putting this to something more like 0.1? Still pretty rough. Also, one thing I want to change is probably let's bring this a little bit higher so we have some. Ooh, that's better. Just a few bumps in there, probably better than everything being bumpy. Because I kind of want to keep the glossiness in there. If I use like a super rough map, it looks kind of weird. Okay. Let's see if we can probably change the... Let's see if we can... No, I'm gonna keep it there. 20 seconds, not much we can do now. Maybe we could... No, we can't really do that. Yeah, I guess that's it. Kind of hard to see the end result in the viewport. Usually Photoshop really brings in the magic, which is kind of bad because you can't really see how your end result will look like before you put it into Photoshop. So you have to kind of just guess. But that's just how it is. At least if you have a good silhouette, that's usually what I'm looking for right now with these images. Very strong silhouettes where you can see the main focus of the image, and everything else just basically is secondary. Okay. Where's my plane? There it is. Okay, let's do the first sketch. Okay, let's do the first sketch. Let me switch to the rendered view. There you go. Put this to render result. Nope. Oh yeah, it's the right one. Okay, then render. Da-da-da. Let me drink something real quick. Oh. I think they look pretty good, actually. The worst thing is that I usually put my resolution for the model pretty low, so it's kind of rough, and I can't really see what it's going to look like in the end, of course. So making this sketch render helps to see the final result, because in the render it's always going to be the highest level of resolution or detail. Which helps. But of course we can't really change anything now except for post-production stuff. So let's go and do that real quick. Oh, that's a lot of glow. Glow, hold on. Let's reduce the glow. Let's see. 10. Okay, what about 100? Just too strong. Oh my god. 500. Okay, kinda. Still pretty strong. 1000. Oh. That's still super strong. It's weird that his mouth isn't as strong as his eyes. Maybe you can see the light directly in the eyes. What about 5000? Oh, it doesn't go over 1000. Well, then we can't use the glare node, unfortunately. Which is kind of a shame, because it kind of adds more. We could probably switch the export option or the export format from EXR to PNG. This should give us a better color range, which we can actually control better. EXR has a bigger color range, which enables you to basically just fine-tune the colors a little bit better. But of course, in this case, if we can't go far enough to clamp down the brightness, we should probably do it in PNG. So it's basically like you have like 256 colors, or what was it, 256? In PNG you have 256 colors. I don't really know if that's really what happens, but and then for example in EXR you would have like, I don't know, 500 whatever, double the amount for example. That's basically just a higher color range, which enables you to see better a better gradient between the colors and the shadows, which also enables you to it stores the colors a little bit better, and also enables you to to just overall fine-tune it a little bit more, because you have more a bigger range, which then of course enables you to target specific areas a little bit better. Okay, we need fog glow. Of course, it's still pretty. Oh, it's still pretty bright. What about putting to 10? It still doesn't work. I guess we can't use. I mean, we could probably just reduce the brightness of the light. Let's see. Which brightness does that have? Strength 10. It's a 10. I guess we put it to 10. I mean 1. Let's see if that works. What's the... Okay, it's still pretty bright, so it might work this way. We put it to 1. I mean, this could probably stay at 10. We'll put it to 1 as well. Okay, let's see if that works. Shouldn't take too long to render. Of course, that's what the sketch layer or the sketch render is for. Just seeing if we need to change anything to make it look better. It looks kind of like his thumb is going through the... No, it doesn't. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's definitely way better. Now we can see... hold on. There you go. Now it's just... The glow isn't as strong anymore, which is exactly what I was looking for. What about putting this to 0.1? It's probably super strong now. Oh, actually it isn't. We could probably keep it this way. So the optimal display would probably be to have like beams going out of his eyes, but I don't think that's gonna work. I would have probably have to fine-tune the fog a little bit better, and the positioning of the lights in the eyes. So we can't do that, but I think this also looks pretty good. I'm also not quite sure if he should keep the bump map. I think I'm just gonna remove it. I think that's better. Just gonna steal attention from the actual focus. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's do the final render. We of course need more sampling, so it's not as noisy. Put that to ×4, maybe even ×4 that. 512, hold on. Let's put it to 256. Okay. Render that image. Perfect. Okay. So while that's rendering, we can speak a little bit about what we're going to do today. Of course, we're going to continue to work on my character sculpt for the MSI Creator Award challenge, or like the what is it, competition. I was kind of thinking about like doing, like working on it the whole week, so this week, so we can see how far we got, to then estimate if we should like work on it the next week as well, the whole next week, or not. I'm not quite sure yet what I will do, but yeah, I'm gonna decide that when I see how far we got this week. So if we, for example, get all the way to retopology, then we're probably already past the first third of the whole process, maybe, or the first quarter. Basically the sculpting, and then afterwards we would do retopology, which would probably take like 1 or 2 streams. I have a I'm on vacation next week, or at least I have like 3 days, so I can work a little bit more on all my stuff, my private stuff, which enables me hopefully to maybe even work on the submission off stream, because I think some of the process isn't that interesting, especially retopology is basically just laying out a new wireframe for the character. Of course, there's like still stuff I could like talk about, but I don't know if that's really that interesting. And then the next thing would be modeling the mechanical arms, which shouldn't take super long, because we're gonna make them pretty clean. We're gonna not like put in too many small like stuff like cables or other stuff. And then the next step would be shading and lighting, and then that's basically it. So once we've finished the sculpt itself, we can retopologize it, and then we're gonna model the arms, which if we finish the whole model, that would probably be like 50% or like 40%, and then the rest shading, modeling, and then rendering. I mean, shading, lighting, and rendering is like probably the other half. That could take longer because we have to fine-tune it a little bit more, bring in some more details, make it look more realistic, which can take quite a while, because you have to really pay attention to the layout of the UVs, for example, for good seamless textures. Yeah, but that's probably still far off until we get there. I think we can get to a final sculpt this week, so basically working on it today and then tomorrow as well. Probably leads us to a finished sculpt, or almost finished sculpt, which means I could probably retopologize it over the weekend. And then next week we can work on either texturing, or I would probably rather say doing the mechanical arms. I think that's more interesting. Modeling hard surface is something I haven't really done that much so far, so doing that will be a good exercise to just get better at that as well. So with this, so what I'm kind of, I don't know if I mentioned that, but what I wanted to say before was I usually put my quick sketches not only on Instagram, like on the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as an image, but I also put them on LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok as more like a, maybe not like as videos on, no way, actually as videos I'll put them on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, basically as like a small how-to videos showing how I made them, like all the quick sketches. And it kind of like it kind of tells me if I have like a good, what is it, a good layout or a good composition, depending on, I don't know how many impressions it gets, I guess. The two that have like a high contrast between the foreground and the background were like super popular, I guess, on YouTube and TikTok, which kind of had way more impressions than other images. So it kind of tells me what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong in that sense, because as I said before, if you can see the silhouette, or if the silhouette is good and you can see what's going on in the image, I think it's just draws you in better. The one that did really well was the three dudes on the hill looking like down, or like in the distance, which was like a strong contrast between the background and the foreground. And the other one was a more recent one, which was the hooded female character that was being lit up by this glowing light underneath her. This one was probably had just a good focus, because she was the only thing that was really in focus and really lit up, which of course, if there's nothing else in the scene, then it's just easier to focus on one thing. Let me save the image and then we can go to Photoshop. It's a nice coincidence that the 60th quick sketch, quick sketch is gonna be on the 1st of April. Kind of interesting. Okay, let's go to Photoshop. Let's import the image. Projects, they go. Okay, let me switch to Photoshop. Okay, let's do a few touch-ups. Probably the first thing we always do, or I at least do, is color lookup, just to give it a lookup table to highlight the bright spots and pull down the dark spots. Just increase the contrast, basically. The film stock is usually what I use, but in this image I think it's too intense. The eyes just take away too much detail around them, so that's just too strong. We could maybe just reduce the opacity. That could work. The problem is I kind of want to make his chest region a little bit brighter, but you can't really brighten up the eyes too much, or maybe even at all, without losing some detail. Maybe that could work. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I think. 50% opacity should work. We could also probably just use a mask to reduce the brightness of the eyes. Let's see if that works. Change the color, make it smaller. There you go. Okay, so film stock kind of gives you also this yellowish tint, which isn't too bad. It looks pretty cool, I think. But you can see it if we try to make a mask, or try to implement a mask. You can see it kind of brings out the gray underneath the filter, so I'm probably not going to change it. I think 50% looks pretty good. So the next step would be, we could probably bring in a contrast layer. Just strengthen it even more. There you go. Actually, do we need more brightness? I like this yellow tint. I kind of want to keep it, but we could probably decrease the brightness a little bit. Okay, that's better. So we can actually see the outline of his eyes. Okay. So one thing you can do to see if your layout works is you can just, for example, zoom out like very far. For example, you could go to 12% original image size or even more, and see if you can still see what is actually in the image. That's one thing you can check if your silhouettes and all that work, and your values. I think with this one it looks pretty okay. Looks kind of deformed, like a deformed human, because of the back that is completely black, which kind of gets like swallowed by the background, which but I think it's not too bad, so we'll keep it like this. Do we need anything else? We could maybe use a curves adjustment layer to pull up the grays. That could work. Now we still have the outline of the eyes, but we've pulled up the grays a little bit. Of course, not too high, otherwise we're going to lose some detail. I think that looks pretty good. I kind of also wanted to keep these light cones coming from his eyes. I think that's the best we can hope for with these, with what we got. I think we would have had to increase the density of the volume a little bit to get like stronger light cones. So that's probably the best we can get out of this. Oh, there's one thing I forgot. My good old Swiss Army knife to really stylize this image, or this, to really put it in the same series of images that I'm doing right now. Let's see. Resources, images, nope, not images, textures, fingerprints. There you go. Just gonna put this to linear, and there you go. Just covering the image. We're gonna make it bigger so the smudges aren't as small and as dense, which helps just make it look a little bit rougher, but also gives it just this cool effect, that as if it looks like a old image. It also has these swirls on it, which can be used for smoke or something similar, which could be helpful in this image actually. Let's see, let's find a good spot. Let's see, maybe here. Just playing around with it to find a good balance between smudges and no smudges. I don't want to like completely fill up the image with too many fingerprints and smudges, which kind of makes it look cluttered and distracts from the overall focus. I think that looks pretty good. Let's decrease the opacity. I usually put it to 50%. Perfect. That looks pretty good. Let's save that PSD. I don't know why it takes so long to save it. Come on. Can't take this long. It's not that complex. Okay, let's export the JPEG as well, so I can upload it, and then we can go over to the main topic for today, which not only sculpting my character, but also it's talking about a specific topic that I kind of wanted to talk about today, which is a trap every artist should be aware of and shouldn't like fall into. I've fallen into it before. It's not like super drastic, but it's just something to keep in mind. Quick sketch day 59. Yep. Import into my phone and then upload it. Well, that's gonna be uploaded. I'm gonna play my month 1 compilation. Hopefully there's gonna be another compilation in 2 weeks, maybe a little bit later, but I'm definitely gonna do one for this month, so we can have more variety in the transitioning period of uploading the quick sketch. No, I don't have to like loop my compilation then, which is probably better than like, it's just overall more interesting to look at 2 different compilations than just one. And it's just fun to do like a small compilation of everything that happened or that we've created in this month, which is actually, I think, more than last month. I think last month we did, of course, a quick sketch almost every day, or maybe even every day, and I think 2 or 3 characters. But this month we actually did all the first of all, I think 4 or 5 likeness sculpts. Then what else? Of course, 31 quick sketches, and I think even more, or we started two bigger projects. I'm not quite sure. Let me import my image and then play or go to uploading, and then we can go over to today's topic. Oh, there it is. We've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 likeness sculpts. No, 7. Then a satisfying animation, which was at the start of this month. The geometry nodes experiment, and then of course all the quick sketches. So that should be more than last month. There it is. Import. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's go. Let's switch to Blender. Let's open up a new, oh no, we can open up the old scene. The MSI Creator Awards submission, there it is. Yesterday we finished basically putting in some more detail in not only basically in the hands and also in the feet. That was the second time I ever sculpted feet. I think it's a pretty good start. Putting in some more detail should help make it look even better. And today we're gonna combine a few of these limbs to eliminate these very harsh transitions between the limbs itself. Yeah, so before we do that though, I'm gonna upload my image. So while the compilation is running, I'm gonna do that, which should roughly take like, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will go right into it. Let's stop the music, and there you go. Enjoy. Okay, this time it took me one more loop, but now we're good. I gotta use the restroom, so let me just quickly pull something up you can look at while I am gone. Hold on. Emergency loop. Let's see, where's my VJ loop? There it is. There it is. Video. Okay, perfect. Just gonna let this play while I go use the restroom. Let me just quickly display capture. Oh, hold on. Da-da-da. I should have... Oh, hold on, I have to switch something. Copy... Oh no. Copy... There you go. Perfect. Nope, not getting some water. Oh my god. Come on. Oh my god, stop it. Rest. Okay. Perfect. Let me just quickly reposition this. Right there. Maybe over there. Perfect. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Enjoy the music and the satisfying loop. I'll see you in a few seconds. Okay, I'm back. We don't need this loop anymore. Let me just quickly hide my restroom thingy. Okay, perfect. So, let's get back to the main project. I need my graphic tablet, of course. Okay. So, there's one topic I wanted to talk about today. which is let me hold on. I want to see if I can. So I kind of wanted to play with the idea of putting in chapters or timestamps into my old VODs on YouTube. So I would have to write down my the timestamps real quick. Hold on. Okay. I think that's just easier, especially if you're like, if I talk about a certain topic and the first, like, what is it, hour and 15 minutes is just a quick sketch and then uploading it. I think that's kind of like a hurdle you have to, like, if you're just looking for the info, I think it's easier to just have timestamps, so they're not like if somebody else watches it after it's done, like as a VOD, it's just easier to navigate. And yeah, basically easier. And usually in UV design, UI design, you're basically always trying to make it as accessible as possible, especially on websites, because the more clicks you have to do, or the more clicks you have to make, the more people will leave before they even finish the whole process, or the whole, like, all the steps. So the more clicks you have to do, the more people you lose. So I kind of want to make it easier to engage with the VODs in the way that people want. So if someone wants to see the quick sketch, that's of course pretty easy to find. But if it's more about, if somebody wants to rather listen to the topic of, for example, today, then they can do that easier if there are timestamps. Okay. What is it? There you go. Let's say so the topic I wanted to talk about today is a trap that every artist, or maybe even more than just artists, but at least every artist should be aware of and should avoid, maybe even. Let's see. Let's see. Topic. Hold on. Topic. Of course, I'm not only going to talk about that single topic probably throughout the whole rest of the stream, but that should be like, I kind of want to pick out one topic that I can talk about, at least one, so I have like a certain substance or yeah, at least like one topic that if you don't really, maybe not even really care about what I really do, you still can get value by just listening to what I have to talk about, basically. So maybe someone, so basically I've just been working on this on the sculpt for the last week, or maybe even longer, and maybe this sculpt isn't really that interesting to you. Maybe you care more about like the topic I want to talk about. Then at least there's another value point that I can add just by of course talking about it. So which means I can use my time on stream a little bit better, rather than just rambling about a random topic. That's gonna happen after the main topic is done. Yesterday I kind of just rambled about everything that I kind of got into my mind. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So let's see if everything's ready. My graphics tablet is ready. Anything else? I should probably go. Oh, actually, I think I'm gonna combine the few things in here. So I'm not gonna do go to sculpting just yet. Okay, hold on. So let's see, what do we want to combine here? Probably the arms. I'm probably going to combine the arms, then the fingers to the hand, and then maybe the legs, combining that maybe with the feet. I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe not. Okay. So the topic that I wanted to talk about, and also the title of this today's stream, is a trap that every artist can fall into and every artist should be aware of. I also fell into that trap before, and the trap is basically, let me just quickly unveil what it is. It is basically comparing yourself to others. Maybe not even that. It's something more complex, I would say. It's more that you see, for example, you go to ArtStation, or you go to any other like software or like a social media platform where people share their work, and you kind of see all of that, all the finished artworks, and I think it can really quickly happen that you look at it and then think to yourself, dude, I would never be able to do that. So for example, I like create characters. The thing I do the most with Blender is sculpting characters, whether that is just faces, busts, or like heads, busts, or like full body characters. And then I go to ArtStation and I look at stuff there for inspiration or whatever, and then I can see like these highly detailed, fully finished characters with like awesome hair and awesome clothing, and the thought comes to my head like, oh, that looks so great, I'll never be able to do this. But I think what usually then comes into my mind is I think something that isn't really kind of, it doesn't like humble me, it humbles the image for me, which is I think very helpful if you're working or if you're an artist. So usually, for example, if you look at like if you create, or like for example like me, if you create characters, for example, and you look at other people's, maybe even professionals art that also do character designs, for example, you can most of the time see a kind of a difference between your work and theirs, and that is there are of course different factors: experience, how long it took, in what environment it was like made. Did they like do that as a personal project? Was that for a game or in university? And another step I think that is also important despite those, or like another point is the end result always looks more complex than if you actually think about how it's been made. So I think if we look at end results, we quickly forget how someone actually went ahead and made it. Basically every creative work starts off, or basically everything in life starts off very, very simple. For example, in a character's head would start off with just a sphere, for example, or a base mesh, and then you go ahead and put in more detail and just work at it, going through all the steps, and at some point you have a finished image, basically. And I think it's very easy to forget that. that you kind of you get in this rut, or you can get in this rut of like, oh my god, I'll never be able to do what he's able to do. I'll never be on that level. And that is kind of like a bad habit or bad thought process, because usually if you then look at, for example, speed sculpts, or like just a making of how that character, how that artwork is created, you can very quickly see that the process itself is actually pretty simple. Just of course the amount of detail that then is in the end result depends on how much experience, how skilled someone is. And usually even the most complex, the greatest artworks that you can look at usually are kind of pretty simple. It just doesn't seem like it, because you see the final result, which looks super complex and super basically super complex. You don't really think about all the steps that you would take to create that image. You just see the final result, which looks super crazy, and you can't really maybe even comprehend how someone would go about doing it. You could probably do it yourself, you just don't know how to start. And I think just that, like, the thought of I can never do this kind of can bring people down, and kind of maybe even demotivate people, just because it's like I'll never be able to do this. I think it's just something, if you say that to yourself, it can quickly lead to you giving up, which is of course never a good thing, especially if you like doing what you do. So that's kind of the trap I was talking about, the trap of saying to yourself you'll never able to do this, although it's actually pretty simple to do it. You just don't see it because it looks so complex. Let me just quickly create a backup. What do I call this? Backup 3. Okay, so the mindset should rather be, how do I make this? Or how could he have made this? What is the most simple way I could create the same, basically capture the essence in the most simplest way? And that is usually how someone starts. For example, with this character, this will be a fully textured, shaded and lit up character with like a lot of detail, with like mechanical arms, and this in the middle part will be a recreation of this basically down here. So you see, for example, the end result, and you see like these complex, like all the abs, or like overall like the surface imperfections and all that, and the face, and you don't really know how someone would start it. But how I started this is actually pretty simple. I can show you how I started this. If I remove the current state of my sculpt, and then we go ahead and, oh, where's the head? There it is. Let's bring in the first step. That's basically the primitives that I was kind of talking about, or the simplest way I was able to create the character I want to create. And that is also like the kind of the workflow I would always do before I really go into detail. If you kind of keep this workflow in mind, I think that's a good workflow to do, especially in 3D. In 3D modeling, maybe in drawing probably also. Just first step is going to be making it as simple as possible, creating the scene in very primitive shapes. So for me, that would be making, first of all, a base mesh by just using simple shapes. I just basically put a subdivision modifier on this on a cube, so I get this round shape that I then just I just move the vertices. You can see that's the model itself. Using the subsurface modifier gives me this round shape for the chest region, or the upper body. And then I basically did the same for all for the hand, for the fingers, for everything, just basically making a very rough base mesh. I then went ahead and created the pose, just moving the first version into the pose that I wanted it to have, which is this. So still very, very simple, basically a stick figure with some more like human-like proportions, like thicker thighs, and overall just a pose. But you can see it's still very simple. And then I went ahead and basically just sculpted and created, basically just put in more detail into the stick figure to, for example, sculpt in the toes, or brought in like more human anatomy in the stomach region, for example, the upper body itself. And now I'm just going to work more on it to yeah, at some point finish it. I think it can be very like overwhelming to just look at the finished product and without like looking at how someone could have made this, because it then seems like of course it's overwhelming, and I think that's also the reason, or the where the doubt comes from. You're kind of getting overwhelmed by this awesome image, and if you probably just would have like thought about how you could have made it, it would have probably been not as daunting as it seems. Of course, it could be that you see some cool imagery, or I don't know, like some sort of 2D animation or whatever, and you see like the drastic skill differences between you and the artist that made that piece. At least then you can say, okay, maybe I can learn from him, and maybe I can use his work to improve my own. You don't really have to think about that you're never going to be able to like achieve the same result. I think that's never really a good thing to think about, because first of all, that's not true. You will most likely always be able to, with enough work and perseverance, or like, yeah, basically just practice, be able to do the same that they did. They most likely had just more time practicing it. So you shouldn't really expect yourself to be able to do the same that they are able to do in that current time. So for example, someone could, I caught myself doing that. I would, for example, look at on Instagram, like at a few, or ArtStation rather, at a few like artworks of like fully finished characters with like super detailed clothing, and there would, for example, be someone that was in university for like 3 years or so. That's his final product or his final project. I myself I'm a freelance, or not freelance, I rather a hobby artist that only like taught everything I know myself through just doing projects or like looking at tutorials and all that. So I also like work on like for the main amount of time of the day. That was kind of weirdly said, but the most time I spend of the day is working, and then second most, at least right now, would be working on my projects. So they just immediately have, like the ones in university, have more time to think about or to practice. It's supposed, or it's the thing that they are supposed to do with their time, or yeah, the time, or they should spend time on improving in creating characters, for example. So you can't really expect yourself to be able to be on the same level, and you should always like basically put what someone else did into perspective. Maybe it's someone that already worked in the industry for 10 years. You can't really expect to be on the same level, like after, like, for example, for me, 2 years of doing like working with Blender. So it's always important to keep to have a good perspective on how long someone did it, also how much time they had to think about it, to work on it. If somebody is in a university just to learn character sculpting, character creation, character modeling, whatever, they probably have more practice in after 3 years than you would have if you're just doing it as a hobby. So the main thing I kind of was thinking about when I was writing down that topic was basically that it can be really easy to fall in this rut of I'm so bad, there's so many better people, I'll never be able to do what they can do. And I think just overall being a little bit more reflective on the situation, or I mean, of course, most people would say don't compare yourself with others. That's probably the easiest way to say it. But also put your position and their position, like if you compare them a little bit into perspective. Don't expect you to be able to do the same that they can do after 2-3 years, for example, of them being in university and you just doing it as a hobby. They just had more time to practice it. So don't expect the same result in the end. And also, if you're not as good as them, maybe you can use their work to improve your own. You can see what they do, what you could maybe even like implement in your own work. You could see, you could get inspired by them. You could look at their work and see some flaws that you have, maybe that they even have. You can see some flaws that they have, that you can then see if you also do the same mistake, which you then can fix. So I think you shouldn't really compare your work with other people's work. You should rather use it as I mean, it's still like a comparison, but it should be more as an education rather than just a competition. I don't think a competitional mindset is a good thing in this sort of regard. I think you should rather focus on cooperation rather than competition. You may not work with them directly, but you can at least use their work to influence your own and maybe improve your own even. So that's like, the trap is kind of getting like bogged down, and maybe even quitting doing art just because somebody else is like better than you. I don't think that's a good mindset to have. I don't know. It's just like overall just a better way to think about. Nobody's perfect, of course. It may not seem for example, everybody always says like Instagram isn't the real life, and usually people only post their best stuff in on social media. So that piece that they uploaded to ArtStation is probably also their best piece. They probably also made like other pieces that were like way worse than yours, for example. Of course, as I said before, you shouldn't like compare yourself to them, but you always have to keep a perspective when it comes to other people's like skill compared to yours, and overall just more focusing on your own stuff than thinking about others. You don't live their lives, so why should you care about their lives? I think it's also just more healthy to think of others more as peers or helpers rather than competition, because I don't know, I think that just makes you more negative towards that person unnecessarily. They might be like even a cool person, and you, for example, if you have like another person that is really good in your class and you're always trying to compete with them, maybe they're pretty cool and you could even like help each other. Maybe once you do a project together, you can see, oh, that person's actually pretty nice and wants to help me, or you want to help them once you get to know them. So I think, I don't know, just having a cooperative mindset is probably better. And then if you actually see, oh my god, I am worse than them, and they're maybe even close to you, like they're your friend or whatever, you can even ask them what they maybe think about your stuff and can give you feedback. Yeah, I think just an overall cooperative mindset is just better for everyone. Always thinking about life being in competition is probably not a good way to think about everything. I don't think that's gonna bring you some sort of like advantage in life. I think it's rather gonna make you more negative, most likely, and overall just maybe even less popular. You're gonna be more cynical and overall more negative towards others, which I think isn't really helpful for you or them. So it's basically a lose-lose situation. Of course, sometimes it can be hard to like mute these thoughts of like comparison, like, oh my god, this dude, I don't know, if you, for example, working out and you see someone way bigger than you, there's probably going to be like some thoughts about, oh my god, he's so huge, I'm never going to be able to get to his level, or he's probably a douche because he's, I don't know, so big, whatever. He's using a machine I wanted to use for the douche. But I think if you catch yourself doing that, you should probably consciously try to avoid these thoughts, or maybe then think about something positive about them. That's usually what I do. When I catch myself like having these maybe negative or like comparative thoughts, like comparing thoughts, I usually try to think about the other person in a positive light, or just not at all. It's basically like having a devil on one side of your shoulder, and then on one of your shoulders, and then an angel on your other side. You can't control the devil, but you can control the thoughts of the angel. So once the devil says something like, look at him, he's such a douche for using that machine, you should then basically like think to yourself like, no, he's not bad, I don't even know him, so I can't really judge him, so he's probably pretty cool. Maybe we could talk a little bit more about the process I was mentioning before, the process of how I at least think every creative project should happen. I talked about it before with the different stages, but what I realized like probably a year ago or so, I wanted to create a sculpt, basically a full body sculpt of a character of a video game character from Furi. It's called Furi, the main character basically. And I started by just immediately starting to sculpt. I started with the upper body, I think, then brought in the arms, and at some point I realized, oh, the pose looks kind of weird, but it's pretty hard to change the pose if you've already started sculpting with all the limbs combined together. So I could have either cut them off using the Boolean tool, or I just could just stop and not do it, or like start off with a different technique that I would use now. I did the quitting technique. I basically just quit that project and went to another project because it kind of seemed like too much of a hassle to start over again. So what I do now is basically, as I said before, going from very primitive shapes to giving more and more detail. The reason why primitive shapes are so important is because or the big shapes in general, the big shapes decide how your character looks in the end. So the silhouette is one of the most important things you have to look out for every character. If you have a strong silhouette, your character will be immediately more recognizable, and the silhouette is very important for any character. So if you only use primitive shapes, for example, like cubes, circles, spheres, whatever, you can really only focus on the big shapes, of course, because you don't have any details. So you can really focus on the silhouette, because the silhouette is of course only made out of big shapes. So this way you can first of all focus on the overall look of the character, the silhouette, the pose. And what I did for this character, as I said before, I disconnected every limb so I can control them like a rig. Basically, I can move the leg if I have to, I can move the hand, the fingers, put them into a pose, and then once I like the pose, I then basically go into more detail only after that, because of course you might have a good silhouette like just as if you look at it like from the front, but then you want to put the character into a pose, which then also has to look good. So you should at least I think you should first only use primitive shapes, not only for the overall anatomy and all that of the character, but also for the pose itself. This way you can just focus more on the big shapes, which just makes it easier to create a very good looking and overall just better end product. Everything is based on the big shapes, basically. If those don't look good, nothing will look good. You can't fix your silhouette by changing details. Your pores won't change the silhouette of your character. So you really have to pay attention a lot in the beginning to how your character looks, the anatomy, the proportions, if everything looks good, and then you can go into more detail. Because if you think later, oh dude, the proportion actually look kind of weird, he should have longer arms, it's gonna be harder to actually change that. So focusing on that in the beginning really helps you and sets you up for not only a good experience, but also just gives you a more successful, sets you up for a more successful, project, I guess. So we've detailed the first leg, we've eliminated the transitions, or we blended them over, so we have one leg done basically. I could probably go into a little bit more detail. Let me pull up my references, but I think I'm gonna first go over to the other side, work on that, and then if I want to go back, I'll go back. So I think the plan is going to be to only combine the limbs, so arms, the hand. Hold on, how do I want to explain this? So it could be that I want to make small changes to the hand itself, and that wouldn't be really possible if I combine the hand with the arm. So what I want to do first, I want to only combine, for example, the legs, so the upper leg and the lower leg, before I combine everything, just to make sure I have a good, it still looks good, and I can still make small changes if I have to. I couldn't do that if I just combine everything and then like I see some small mistake that I kind of want to fix, but I can't anymore because everything's merged together. I could probably use the Boolean tool, as I said before, to like remove that limb from the overall scope, but why not just like do the like why not pay attention beforehand before you see the mistakes or before you create a mistake. I also thought about a different topic today. I saw a tweet which was some like an answer to an article which talked about Twitch's monopoly, as they called it, over the live streaming like environment, I guess. Someone said Twitch may seem like they have a monopoly, but YouTube and Facebook Live kind of caught up to them, and they will probably, like, they haven't caught up just yet, but they are like in the process of catching on and will probably surpass Twitch in the next few years. So one very high or very big benefit that they have is VODs. Of course, Twitch also has VODs, but they're kind of hidden on Twitch. You kind of have to look for VODs if you actually want to watch them. On YouTube, of course, you just have your channel, and then you can see the VODs basically as videos, which is of course way easier to access and also discoverable. There's no way to discover VODs or new streamers through Twitch. It's basically just either luck. I think you have this recommendation kind of setting where channels will get recommended to you, but what usually happens is that you can basically switch from either recommendations to from high to low, or from low to high. I read that low to high was removed. Maybe it's still there, I'm not quite sure. But there's no real like discoverability on Twitch, and you can't really not even like really look for like clips or VODs. So it's completely different on YouTube, for example, where your VODs will be saved as basically just videos, long videos, which you then can not only watch, of course, you can see it in the list of all the videos, but you can also it'll also can be recommended to someone after it's done, after the live stream is done. So it's basically like on Twitch you can only be discovered when you're online, so when you're live streaming basically. So roughly, like for me at least, there would be 4 to 3 hours for 4 hours in a week. But on YouTube you could be discovered 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, because the VOD could always be recommended to someone. So just a whole different like level of discovery on YouTube. I don't know how it is on Facebook. I haven't really looked into Facebook Live, but on YouTube it's just way more beneficial to like live stream for discoverability, I guess. Just because you have this the VODs are actually like being recommended to people, which is not gonna happen on Twitch. Because if you want to watch VODs on Twitch, you actually have to first of all look up someone like a streamer you want to watch the VODs from. Then you have to go to their channel, you have to sort or look for the videos tab, or like I think there's a list of all the videos, all the live streams, the VODs, and then if you want to see clips, there's this small little button that you can switch from videos. No, I think it's you can switch it from live streams to videos. Hold on. Okay, where were we? Sorry, someone came into my room. They showed me a device where you can measure your ring size with. I apparently have a ring size of 64, at least for my middle finger. Wait, what we were talking about? Something about VODs on YouTube, or like different between YouTube and Twitch. To find clips on Twitch, you have to basically make a deep dive into someone's channel to find the VODs, and then the VODs are even like, I don't know, like they're worse to look at because you have to. It's not like the same overlay you would have for YouTube. You don't have, like, for example, you could put in timestamps on YouTube. You have a thumbnail that can tell you what is actually going on. You have a title. Usually the VOD title is just the title of the live stream on Twitch, and some, like, I don't know, I think the title on Twitch isn't that important, so people just write something, whatever they want on there. So it's really like annoying and hard to actually find content on Twitch if the person isn't live. So the only really monopoly they have is that they went into the live streaming space early, and they were the platform that was able to figure out the whole data processing and all that the best. Some platforms kind of just crashed because they couldn't really figure out how to properly send that much data to everyone that was watching someone, or even, yeah, basically the server structure was kind of hard to set up. So some platforms just lost to Twitch because they couldn't figure that out. But now I think Twitch is kind of sitting on their on their laurels of them being the, I guess, best or most well-known platform for live streams, and they don't really do much for the user itself. They more do like make changes or like change stuff for them and for the creators so they can make more money for them. They don't really care about the usability as much because it works right now, so why would you change it, right? So I think in the long run, especially because of the discoverability, overall just the user interface, the UI, and the longevity of someone's content, someone's live stream on YouTube. I don't know how it is on Facebook Live. Will Twitch lose more and more of the majority, or like the power they have right now, I guess. And they kind of don't super care, which is kind of interesting. I also heard they're making like no money every year, or they lose money every year, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know, maybe they're just trying to milk out the rest of their lifespan or something. I don't know. So there's not really a monopoly. It's, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. They're probably just the most well-known platform to in the live stream space. I think Twitch will lose a lot of their power over the next few years because of all the functionalities that I mentioned before that they seemingly don't care about, but are super important. Also stuff like, which would actually be super cool if you could have a specific site that you could go to where you could see like clips from channels on Twitch, like just on YouTube. So you go to that site and then you have like a For You page where you can see like clips that get recommended to you, or So you can see, like, you can maybe even discover new people through those clips, or I don't know, VODs being easier, like more easily accessible or whatever. So basically on Twitch, people can only see you if you're actually online. On YouTube, people can always see you because the videos always get or can get recommended to someone. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's not going to be a long time until Twitch has to really look out for their, I guess, what was it? Monopoly. I heard YouTube wants to make big changes to live streaming this year. I'm kind of excited to see what that's going to entail. The only thing I'm kind of hoping for is a more easily accessible, or like a more a bigger or better live streaming platform. So what I mean, or section on YouTube. So right now, if you want to see, or if you want to look through live streams, it's so weird. You would have to basically, how do we even explain this? So if you want to see, if you want to look for live streams, you can either find them through just looking, like searching. So you can search for, I don't know, FIFA pack opening, and you could probably find some live streams at some point. You can of course filter for live streams, but that already takes way too long for most people. Most people either probably find a live stream through recommendations, which is a good thing, better than Twitch. Or I mean, there's a recommendation on Twitch, but they only feature like few people that have like that are trending basically right now. They have like a lot of viewers at that time, I guess. I think that's how it works. On YouTube, it gets recommended to you if you like that sort of content. So that's a little bit different. And if you want to look for live streams of, I don't know, for example, FIFA, if you want to see all the live stream that YouTube has, there's I think there's a live section, or you have to search live, and then there's basically a playlist, an official playlist of all the live channels. So a full list of live channels, which is like some completely like backwards. So if you're looking for just live streams overall, like a platform for live streams on YouTube, you basically only have this playlist that you can look at and see every live stream that there is, which is kind of weird right now. So hopefully they change that in the future. Maybe give it a special platform, just because right now it's kind of confusing and not really intuitive to use. Okay, the other lag looks pretty okay right now. We could probably detail it some more, but I'm gonna rather work on other stuff. One thing I kind of oops, sorry. Let me drink something real quick. Of course, we have to stay hydrated. What was I talking about? I can't remember. Goldfish brain. Yeah, that's a good question. What was I talking about? Yeah, I kind of was commenting on that tweet, basically saying the VODs are more important than the actual live stream, and Twitch not really having a good VOD system kind of like reduces the potential of Twitch overall as a platform, at least for newer creators, like a lot. So I don't know, it's just a missed opportunity, and they don't really seem to care that much about new updates. Back in the, or maybe like a few months ago, there were the DMCA wave. People or creators had to change, or had to remove all their clips because Twitch doesn't really have a good answer to the DMCA claims that they got. So they just said, okay, well, time for you to delete everything you have, or all the VODs, basically all the clips that would maybe have music in them. They didn't say delete all your clips. They basically just said you have to delete the clips that have music in them. Their bots detected some of those, but of course you can't really be sure if a clip has copyrighted music in them. So you basically just delete all of it, which of course is kind of pretty bad. And they kind of like made a roadmap where they talked about their plans for features for creators to be able to delete all the VODs that they have, or all the clips. And they said they're going to be releasing that in, I don't know if it was a few months or a whole year, but either way it was way too long. So someone from the community basically just made a tool for that in like 2 days, which just kind of shows the amount of like manpower they kind of wanted to put into people's like people's safety, I guess. They don't even care about that, kind of, it seems, because they couldn't really put in any manpower into giving the people an ability, like the streamers, an ability to delete their old VODs that they have to do. I don't know, they also weren't like really prepared for any DMCA stuff, as it seems. So I don't know what's going on there. The Twitch overall is kind of a weird platform, and then all that stuff with weird management and all, I don't know. I don't think that's gonna go well for a long time. Of course the monetization is good, or the ways you can monetize. That's basically what they specialize on, making more money, which of course results in also more money for the streamer, because the streamer is their source for money. So if Twitch wants to make more money, the streamer will also make more money. But sometimes the things they bring in is kind of a detriment for a stream. For example, streamers having to play ads, or having pre-roll ads, which means if somebody wants to watch you or like tunes into a stream, they will always have an ad at the beginning when someone joins. So you could see like one or two advertisements before you even get into the stream, which is like so annoying. You kind of expect it on YouTube, but I don't know, it's kind of different. So usually, I mean, oh, hold on, I don't know, on YouTube it's kind of different. On Twitch it's like you want to see what they're doing, what the stream is about. You go in, okay, ad, and then you maybe get even a second ad, and you just think to yourself like, dude, why do I even care? Why don't I just go to YouTube and can be sure of what I am watching is what I actually want to watch? Why would I look or watch an ad for every stream that I kind of want to just take a peek into and gamble whether or not that stream is actually interesting to me, rather than just going to YouTube, googling what I want to see and watching that? So I don't know, it's kind of backwards in terms of usability. Of course, if there are more ads, there's going to be more more money. But yeah, as I said before, it's more for the detriment of the maybe even whole platform, because there are going to be less people that are going to watch overall, which will give them less money. So they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Okay, the legs looks pretty good. Of course, we're going to bring in the cloth at some point, but first off, I want to give the limbs some more detail. So let's combine the arms. Boolean. Should I first bring in the cloth or first first combine the stuff? It could be that I have to realign or reposition my arm when the cloth is there. So I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that. I'm also quite uncertain if I'm gonna make the cloth actual cloth or gonna include that into the sculpt, how it's originally been in there. I think I'm gonna include the cloth into the sculpt. So I guess what I should do is first sculpt the cloth and then maybe adjust the hand. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, I actually it could be that I want to change the fingers, stretch them out maybe even for her right hand, which is now a problem because we've combined the fingers. But we'll see. So I guess the first thing we'll do now is bring in the cloth. I'm probably gonna start with yeah, I guess just a cube with some subdivisions on it, and then sculpt it to what it's supposed to be. Okay, oh, median point, there you go. That's also one of the reasons I kind of want to stay more global, I guess. I want to not only stream on one platform, but on multiple. One reason for that is because then you're not bound to a certain platform. Second reason is I kind of want to spread my content to as many platforms as I can, so as many people as possible can enjoy what I do, I guess. So that's why I'm kind of on every platform, every social media that there is, except for maybe Snapchat, and some sort of like the most popular at least. Just because I want to kind of reach as many people as possible, and hopefully bring as many people as possible, bring value to as many people as possible. Okay. Where's my tool setting? Dynamic topology. We put that to 50. Let's make a nice cloth. Or like a fabric. So first of all, I need my snake hook. There you go. I could pull it, make it longer. First of all, cover the legs. Then I can put in some like more shape into it. Let's see. Pull that down. Okay. I also kind of want to look more into ways I can especially use these kind of streams to make them more valuable. So the streams where I'm kind of just working on a long-term project, usually there isn't that much like new info I can talk about on what I'm doing, and I kind of don't want to just keep shoutcasting my work basically. I think at some point it's going to be very repetitive. Somebody like joins in every day, for example. I kind of want to make it enjoyable for them as well. Of course, someone can always ask questions and I could answer those, but I think there's a certain value that I can still add, which is what I think is having a topic every day, which is kind of distanced from what I'm working on at that time. So my plan so far was to make on Mondays I would do a more like tutorial day where I go through a tutorial. Last week it was making eyelashes for a character. This week we didn't make one, we just worked on the character. But the usual structure would be like to make a tutorial on Monday, and then a small project that I'm gonna start and finish on Tuesday, and then also 2 days of just chilling, maybe talking about a certain topic, which was so far just basically just working on the long-term project and just talking about whatever. But I think I basically structure my live streams so that I can like I want to put in as much value into the live streams so that I can then break up the live streams into videos that I can then bring either on, I don't know, YouTube or other platforms to distribute them there, so they're not only available as a long form format, but also as like something more digestible. So I think there's there's a certain lack of value in the second 2 days of live streams that I do, the Wednesday and Thursday. I usually just talk about some random topic, and I think if I focus that more on a very specific topic, which interests me or could be helpful for others, that I can then talk about, I think that's better to have that as one of the main topic for the live stream, rather than just talking about whatever. I think that is then more prone to be in a individual video that could be helpful for others if I separate that and make a video out of it, rather than just keeping it in the live stream. Okay, let's see. Do I have a backside view of her? No. We can kind of see it, but that's not really... I'm just gonna sculpt it in first, like roughly, and then I'm gonna go into more detail. But there's certainly a blind spot I have right now. So basically the system would be, live streams will be where I make the content, and then the rest of the days will be used for distilling that content, like basically. Making it more accessible for people that don't want to watch the live stream or can't watch the live stream. They can still watch it in video form, which is probably more accessible for most people. For example, there are a lot of... I basically never watch live streams, just because the time I have, I want to spend on stuff that I know I will enjoy. So why would I tune into a live stream to just hope for a good moment or hope for good content to happen? Why would I not just go to YouTube and really like exactly know what I will get out of my click or out of my time? So I could go to YouTube, Google, I don't know, 10 new features in Blender 2.5 or whatever, and I could find it. On Twitch, there's first of all probably no streamer that's just gonna go over that, and also it would be pretty hard to first of all catch that person in the exact same moment, in the exact moment they will talk about it, and second of all, maybe it's not that he's not even going to talk about what I want to hear. So and he may not even be online, as I said before. You have to catch him in a certain moment. So I think splitting up the stream into smaller videos would probably be very helpful, and will probably be more accessible for others. And will basically just passively increase the value of what I do, which is the main goal for me, making my content as valuable as it can be. If you, for example, want to teach someone how to use Blender, I don't know if it's a good idea to just go out into the streets and shout like shout at people. It would probably be better to go to, I don't know, a university or like some sort of free course, or like some sort of like course, or like register as a teacher where you can like teach someone, rather than just going to some random place and like asking people if they want to learn about it. Doesn't matter if you create the value. If the value isn't like discoverable, then it doesn't really have value. It's gets diminished by not being able to be watched, which is of course kind of backwards then. You may have value, but your value will be a bit diminished because nobody can see that value, which is then kind of valueless in the end. Okay, let's get the main flow in here. The main flow of this sculpt. First of all, I'm gonna put this side lower. This is basically gonna go all the way to the start of the legs, like right there. Then this will be lower. Okay. There you go. So I don't know how it looks in the back. So let me just quickly see if I can find a reference for that. Because I need to see what she looks like from the back, especially the kind of fabric she's wearing. I don't know, I can't really see what it looks like from the pictures I have right now. What is she called again? Venus statue. Is this? Yep, Venus statue back, I guess. Oh, that looks pretty good. Aha. Perfect. Oh, another new song I just recently grabbed from the YouTube music playlist. Okay, now we have a backside view. We need one more probably, because we can only see one side of her. I would like to have another perspective. This one looks pretty good. We can probably take that, yeah. Oh, that's even better. Perfect. Okay, let me close those windows and we go in here into my references. Let's pull them up. First one, where's the other one? Oh, there it is. Perfect. Oh, that's a small image. Okay, perfect. That's also what I do with my, I guess, TikTok and YouTube video. I mean, yeah, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram videos. Basically, just grab. My process with those is basically I make a. Right now, I'm making a time lapse for YouTube. So the structure is basically a longer term time lapse on YouTube, a short making of, basically making of time lapse on TikTok, and an even shorter making of time lapse on Instagram. So what I do is I grab my recording. Oh, hold on. Oh no. What I do is I grab the recording for the quick sketch. I I speed it up basically. I remove all the dead air like times where just nothing happens. I then speed it up to I don't know, 800% speed, for example. Put that, make basically a time lapse out of that. Put in the intro and outro for YouTube, and then that's going to be the first video. What I did recently, or what I did before I changed it, I'm kind of experimenting right now, is that I also made a small voiceover over the time lapse on YouTube, just to put in even more value, I guess. So I would talk about a certain topic. The problem with that was that it was just too time consuming. So I was switching to the alternative of just basically just showing a time lapse basically without a voiceover. I'm not quite sure if that is better or not. I don't think so, but I have to test it out some more. Or what I do then is basically I then look for interesting sections in that time lapse that I can then use for TikTok, for like a small like cut up compilation of what I basically did to create that piece, which then will result in a TikTok, basically TikTok video of like a time lapse or a highlights time lapse basically. And then there's the Instagram reel actually, which is kind of like TikTok, which is 19 seconds long. TikTok is 30 seconds long, not 19, 15 seconds, where I just make the TikTok even shorter, so I can upload it there as well. I think TikToks can be a minute long, Instagram reels can be 30 minutes long. I thought it would be 15, so I kind of stayed with 15 for now. And yeah, I kind of just want to distribute my content to as many platforms as possible, so as many people can see it as possible, and hopefully as many people can enjoy it as possible. Maybe even learn from something from it. That is basically why I started the quick sketches or the time lapses. When I, for example, see other artists, I kind of wish for them to have a YouTube channel that just shows their process behind certain artworks, for example, or images. So if I can't have that for others, I might as well have it for myself. So that's why I have that. And yeah, so I basically want to show on that YouTube channel just my process behind every quick sketch, maybe talk about some sort of like idea or what I did in that quick sketch to give more context, and basically just yeah, create even more content that could be enjoyed by others, maybe even helpful. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Where's my plane? I kind of need my plane right now. There it is, okay. So the mesh is already going into the plane, which isn't really what I'm looking for. I have to pull it up. The cloth should be lying on top of the plane. So let's fix that real quick. We can probably just pull it out. There you go. Should be lying flat on the ground. So we have to push it down a little bit. Perfect. There you go. So I'm kind of just trying to imitate the cloth lying on the ground by pulling it out, basically like making it hover over the plane, so it looks like it's lying on it. It was still very rough, but that's the name of the game for now. That's gonna be the first iteration of the cloth with less details, so this can be pretty rough, as I said before. Kind of laying on the foot as well. We kind of have to keep the toes open in the open. I was wondering if so like of course nudity isn't allowed on Twitch. But at what point is a sculpt considered NSFW? Like if I start like now sculpting in the breasts basically, at what point would that be considered NSFW? I kind of thought about that a while ago, so I just would do it off stream. I'm not quite sure when, because of course I would have to kind of hide it, I guess. But Yeah, I was kind of thinking about it, and it's kind of funny just think about like someone like sitting there, you're working on a sculpt, and then at some point like he's like going to, yeah, hold on, now it's NSFW. Right at this moment when you when you finished that part, put in that much volume, now it's NSFW. I saw people were getting, I think, warnings for drawing too explicit stuff. And at what point is it too explicit? I guess at the moment where you can, like, where the detail, or it's like too detailed, I guess? I don't know. Okay, the cloth is pretty close to the body for her. I think it's too loose right now for me, so I have to pull it in more. Especially right there between the legs. The problem is that it's not solid, so I could push the surface, the surface on the outside through the inner surface, which could lead to some interesting visuals. So I kind of have to resort to using the move tool and the snake hook tool. We need to push this in. Okay, let's see. It has to be really close to this angle, especially the left one. I'm not quite sure if I have the pose like 100% correct. I don't think so, but I'm not quite sure if it's necessary to really 100% hit the likeness of the pose. I think it's enough to make it like 80% right. It's still recognizable, so that's the main objective that I'm going for. If you can see what I wanted to recreate, then that's the goal in my book. If not, then that's a problem. Because that's the whole point of this sculpt or this piece. Just trying to push it closer and closer to the body, so it's really close. That's right now my goal. And then I can still add more volume if I need more. I remember I don't know if I can really talk about that, but one of my friends, he's basically someone that like works in the I can't really explain it. I don't really know. I don't even know what the German term for it is. He basically looks through accidents that were reported and decides whether or not someone will get like financial support, I guess. And of course, if somebody if there's a reported injury or a reported like accident that happened, there will be images. And he told a few interesting horror stories. So one story he told me was that someone, a woman, was just like had to take a leak. So she went to, and she was like driving with her car. She went to a like highway, no, not highway, like a traffic toilet, whatever you want to call it, to take a leak. I think she then, I'm not, or like the just like the resting like things where you can like park and like stretch out your legs and all that. She went out, of course, to take a leak, went into some bushes and started the process. And apparently someone quite unfortunate was close to her, which was a hunter, you would probably call it, like someone hunting for deer and animals, for example. And he mistakenly like thought she was an animal, because I guess of her posture. So he shot her and he shot her through or in her rear end, which is a kind of funny story. Of course, it didn't really end that well for her, which is quite unfortunate, but the story is still funny. Just not thinking about the consequences. Yeah. There was another one he told me about, which was kind of scary. There was a train accident. And of course, if you think about it, a train accident where someone like got hit by a train in his car, I think. If you're standing in front of a train and he hits you, you can probably expect what will happen, or like you can probably think about what will happen. I don't think there's going to be much left of you. So he said there were pictures of that as well. So at that moment I kind of decided to myself, I'm never going to become the same, or I'm never going to do the same that he did or he does. That's just too graphic. Most of the stuff he of course has is more like very tame stuff, but sometimes you also get like some cases like this, which can probably be quite scary, or surprising, I guess. So you have some more fabric at the left, on the left side. Let's put that in. It's kind of hanging over. Let's put that in. So it's more like hanging over on this side with so she's standing on a pedestal, so this has to be lower than her feet, kind of. So more like this. That's probably better. Also, it has to be further from her legs. It's more free hanging than wrapped around a leg like this. Okay. Probably a little bit more. Actually, way more. Hold on. That's better. That is better. You know, there's one thing I kind of... there's one thing I always... Like, there's one flaw that every movie kind of has for every kind of stereotypical German character that I do. They always have like this heavy German accent. But they all can speak perfect English. The grammar is perfect. The vocabulary is super complex, super sophisticated, I guess. Which just makes no sense, at least in my opinion. If you can, like, if you have a super heavy German accent, like, why would you then have perfect grammar? I think if you like start learning a language, you also kind of want to learn like the pronunciation as well. So the better you get, the better your pronunciation will get. But apparently not. Apparently it's like they have this heavy accent but can speak perfect English, which is kind of weird. I think that's one flaw with every German character I've seen so far. That is like where it's heavily implied that they come from Germany. I think that's basically the same with every foreign character, I guess. Not only German, but maybe also Spanish and all the other languages. I think that's something you can very easily forget. Like, that's a very small detail that can slip under the rug if you don't think about it. That someone that is not from that country and has a very strong accent might not be that good in speaking that language. So let me bring in a little bit of a flow into this to yeah, basically just yeah, basically it's similar to hair. Now we're going to go into some more details. The first part is going to be dictating the general flow of the cloth. Of course, I will basically try to recreate the flow of the cloth in the actual sculpt, the real life sculpt. But I'm not gonna like make it one-to-one perfect. That would take way too long and probably would not even be very possible, because it would like just take so many references that I don't even have. Okay, you kind of have like a second layer that is more like, hold on, over here, that is then lying on top of this leg. More like this, and then you have on this side quite a lot of fabric, which goes all the way down. Perfect. Okay. I also started actually interacting on social media before I started YouTube or content creation, I guess, as a hobby. I've never really used social media as an interaction tool or interaction, like yeah, basically I have never really interacted with anyone. I've just looked through the content that was on there. Now I'm actually like writing comments. Like I started today. I kind of wanted to test it, and it's actually pretty fun just to look through some images, for example, on Twitter or Instagram, and leave some nice comments. So I'm still debating. I will probably try that at some point, maybe tomorrow or something, to not only praise or like give praise or like give say good job when something looks nice, but maybe also give some sort of feedback. Because as I said yesterday, in my opinion, feedback is more valuable than praise. Just because if somebody gives you praise, it's basically like praising you times 10, because they not only like what you do, they also care about you, and they want you to improve. So they care so much about you that they yeah, as I said before, care, like want you to improve in what you do. So they don't only tell you if you do something right, they also tell you if you do something, like if you could improve on a certain thing, which I think brings you overall more value. And also just like, I think if you combine good feedback with, I don't want to say call it like negative feedback or bad feedback, maybe like with something they can improve on, I think that is even hopefully more appreciated than just saying, oh dude, that looks cool. That's probably just still gonna be the main thing I'm gonna type. Something in that like ballpark. But I think it's also, it can be very valuable to give someone, if for example I see something that I could see them improving on, just saying something like, oh dude, looks pretty good already, maybe if you change this it looked even better, just an idea or something. For example, making it not look like you're just hating on them, but actually like you signal them that you want them to improve, so you give them an opportunity of improvement. I think is a good way to go about it. Let me just quickly remove my plane, so I can actually look from down here. I want to pull this out a little bit. This should be more fabric. There you go. Okay. And it's kind of, I think it's also like kind of surprising if somebody doesn't just write, dude, what, like that looks awesome, but actually that gives you advice maybe, or like tips, feedback. I think that's something artists always look for if they want to improve. So actually giving someone feedback and also like saying what they like about the image, I think, or the work, is something that is even, it's super rare, Because it's either, oh dude, that looks so awesome, or dude, that looks so trash, dude. Why did you publish this? That a mix between both, well, not like hating on them, but giving them productive or constructive criticism, I think will be appreciated by most. We need more depth in here. Put this down. Now we get into the territory where this could be pretty bad, but it looks pretty good. Okay, perfect. So this cloth has to be pretty close to the leg. It's supposed to be like laying exactly on top of it, so you have to kind of see the leg through the cloth itself, which will definitely be a little bit harder to do, but it's definitely doable. So let's get to it. And of course, just like leaving a nice comment just feels good. Like, of course, if it's like, as I said before, on Instagram, that's usually what you expect to get when you post an image. But it's still like a good feeling to get actually praise for what you did, because sometimes you may not be sure about it. First, like today, I saw someone posting their first, what is it? What's the program called? Substance Designer, where you can basically create your own procedural textures or shaders. So you can create procedural brick textures or procedural tiles in various different ways. They posted their first finished shader, I guess, and said something like, "Oh, dude, doesn't look too great, but here it is." And I think like giving them like positive feedback is good in that situation, just to ensure them that, of course, most of the time the artist that is actually doing the work will look at it in a more negative sense, because they see what they could have done better. But if you then have like outside feedback given to you from someone that may not be really that knowledgeable, I don't know too much about Substance Designer, for example, that is always nice to have like a second perspective that gives you like a more layman perspective on if that actually looks good to others. Sometimes you look at your own art and think, dude, nobody likes this, but then if you post it, most people like don't really have too high expectations, or they know that they can't do it better, so it looks good to them. And you may not think that if you look at your own stuff. Okay, we're getting pretty close to it. What I mean is the cloth from the original. Still pretty rough, just trying to adjust the shapes and trying to really capture the flow of the original. I think it's very hard to really capture that that feeling of the cloth actually lying on top of the character's legs, just because it has to be smooth in certain areas and like has to have wrinkles in other areas. Do you call it wrinkles if it's like for fabrics? I think it's called folds, right? Folds in certain areas. It's this very specific mix between the two that you have to have. And of course, if you look at other people's work, you might get inspired. So for example, if I do a quick sketch every day, at some point I won't have any ideas. So what I usually do then is I look either through Pinterest, through my Pinterest pins that I already have, or like through other images saved on there. Or I could look through Instagram or Twitter or whatever to look for some inspiration. Good thing is the inspiration doesn't even have to be like full on like artwork or like finished images. Usually it's even better to have unfinished or like concept art, because if there's more room for interpretation, that leaves room for your interpretation, of course. Which means you can just like be more creative yourself. And I'm usually not looking to recreate an image necessarily. I'm more looking for an idea, a concept, something that like inspires me to make something in the same, like with the same idea. For example, like someone standing in the foreground and all the way back in the fog you can see some huge giant that is walking towards that person, or I don't know, like a city that is, I don't know, upside down or whatever. Or just maybe even just a perspective, looking from a very certain angle, which looks super dramatic or super interesting, can also inspire me. Okay. We definitely need more volume in here, but I want to remove it a little bit because I need some deeper a deeper fold right here. This way I can highlight or accentuate the mass of volume I have on the right side, and I can also make it more clear that the cloth is lying on her leg, just how it is in the sculpt, the original. Okay, we have a good layout. Let's bring in some more detail. I kind of want to have a side view from the other side. That's not really one that I have right now. Let's see if I can find one. Let me see. First of all, before I do that though, time for a water break. Okay. So, let's see. What is it called? Venus Sculpt side, I guess. Oh, well, that's not really what I was looking for. What was it? Was it Venus or was it no, so it wasn't Aphrodite. Venus Sculpt is the right one, isn't it? Side, what about just Venus Sculpt? No, wait, what? Oh, a time lapse. Why do I get some sort of fitness guides? That's not what I was looking for. Wait, let me see. What's my... What did I Google before? Venus Sculpt. Eh? Venus Statue. Oh. Venus Statue site. There it is. Do I have one from the other side, maybe? Maybe. Oh, there it is. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Okay, perfect. Let me just quickly grab that image. Where is it? Oh no. It's in some sort of book. Can I just grab it from there, or is it like buried inside of the pages? I didn't even see it. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. I guess I just screenshot it. That's probably the best way. Da-da-da. Okay. Download. Save that image. Yep, in there. Perfect. Okay. One more reference to go by. Where is it? There it is. Okay, perfect. Oh, that's so small. Perfecto. Okay, perfect. Let's go. So I need some more volume in the front. Right here. All the way down to roughly there, I guess. Maybe even lower. There you go. Perfect. That's the first bigger volume that then tapers off and ends in there. Perfect. So I need more back here though. This actually has to be... let's just sculpt it in. I think that's easier. Need more volume right there. Okay. I've never really sculpted cloth before. Usually when I make like clothing for characters, I use, or I have used the Blender cloth tools, or recently I've tried Marvelous Designer, which was really helpful, of course, because it's a dedicated clothing software. It was designed to be used for clothing, so it's of course optimized for that. Blender isn't really optimized for making realistic looking clothes, so it was a big shift between the two, or a big difference between using Blender and using Marvelous Designer. Marvelous Designer is so easy to use, so intuitive. It's basically like working with the real cloth. You can define the shapes for every single piece. For example, for a t-shirt is made out of multiple pieces, of course, and you can first of all define the shape and then sew them together, just like you would in real life, which makes it super intuitive, super easy to work with. So what I've created with Marvelous Designer so far was a t-shirt, of course, some pants, a bomber jacket, and also a, what was it? A hoodie. Pretty simple, but I think they look pretty good. Of course, I've only scratched the surface of what you can do. But I was pretty satisfied with my results. The project I've used the clothes in, I then scrapped after a little bit more time, which is kind of a waste, but at least I was able to use these clothes later in a quick sketch, so they're not like completely wasted. So that's good. Okay. Let's see, the side looks pretty okay. We probably need even more volume. We could probably add that with the usual, what is it called? Clay strips? Yep, clay strips tool. Pretty simple. Just putting that on there. Let's see. We have to put a small dent in here, I think. Like this. Okay, that's better. Where's her buttock? There it is. Okay, that's better. That is better. Okay. Now let's bring in some volume. I need more volume. Okay. I can probably now pull it just out of there to make it easier. Okay, let's make this smaller. Okay, we're coming to the end of today. Just trying to make some swift changes. Let's see, hold on. Okay, this can be closer to the body. Pretty far away. Okay. Okay, we're in a pretty good spot, I think. We've now put in the cloth, which perfectly hides the detail we put into the legs. But it was necessary to put the cloth in now, because then I can see if I have to reposition the hand. I might have to reposition just a little bit so they're not like buried into the cloth itself. Yeah, we'll see. We put in a little bit of flow. We still have to define the flow some more for the cloth itself. Still in the process of making the rough shapes for the cloth. When that's done, we can retopologizing the cloth will be interesting. I'm not quite sure how deep I want to go there. Good thing is if we retopologize cloth, usually if you retopologize cloth, and it should be pretty low poly, you kind of have to keep the structure in mind. You have to kind of work around the folds in your retopology so you can keep them in the silhouette if they're significant. We don't really have to pay attention too much if we make a high quality mesh, which we're doing, so we don't have to care about the individual folds too much, which is pretty good. But that's the final result for today. We've detailed the legs some more. We've brought in some cloth, and yeah, we've talked about a few interesting topics. At least they were interesting to me. Maybe they were interesting to you as well. Let me save real quick. I haven't done it in a long time. Tomorrow's gonna be the last day of working this week. Next week I have a vacation week, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you can enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming and watching, listening, whatever. Maybe you're working on something yourself. Either way, thank you for watching, coming by. Maybe I'll see you next time, maybe not. Either way, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, take care.